Hey everybody, welcome back to Metal Shop Steve. Today, another one of my favorite albums. And this one, obscure is the wrong word to use, but I would say maybe underappreciated a little bit. It was certainly a hit for this band. And I, of course, am talking about Permission to Land by The Darkness. So, if anybody's familiar with The Darkness, you probably know the song I Believe in a Thing Called Love. There's a crazy music video out for it back when music videos were still a little more popular. There were aliens and really bad costumes and bad acting. And needless to say, this band really has a sense of humor. But don't let that fool you. They know how to rock. So, keeping the silly foolishness aside, we're going to talk about the music today for this album. First of all, this album came out about 2003, and the band at that time, the original lineup, the Hawkins brothers, Justin Hawkins on vocals, guitar, Dan Hawkins on guitar, and then they also had Frankie on bass and Ed on drums. So this band put out 2 albums, broke up for a little while, came back together, has put out some more albums. But again, we're talking about the debut Permission to Land here. Overall, I have my notes again because I like to have notes. So sure, there's a little bit of campiness to the appearance and that sort of thing. And Justin Hawkins' vocals are not for everybody. I like them. They're kind of a throwback sound to hair metal, to classic British metal, a little bit of a combo there. You might even say they have a little bit of Queen sound to them. He has a pretty high voice when he sings. He uses falsetto a lot. I like it. The singing is good. It's just different. But again, it's real rock. There's a little bit of AC/DC sound maybe to the actual rock itself. But it's solid. The beat is solid, the bass is solid, and the guitar riffs are really, really good. With that being said, we're going to talk about the songs here. I'm just going to kind of go down the list. So the album opens up with Black Shuck. It is just a great, hard-driving opening song to this album. One of my favorites, I would say, definitely within my top 5 on the album, but I'll get to a couple of those here in a minute. Followed up by Get Your Hands Off My Woman. And this lands completely in my top 3 songs on this album. It's very, I made a note that it's riff-tastic. It's got a great riff to it. And it's very irreverent. The lyrics are kind of pushy. They're kind of bold. Get Your Hands Off My Woman. Growing on Me, the next song up, it's just a pretty solid rocker. It don't really have too much to say about that one. But then we come to the big hit, I Believe in a Thing Called Love. That's the one there was the Alien music video for. That's the most recognizable song by far that they've ever put out. And it's a great song. It's one of my top 2 or 3 on the album as well. Just because it was the popular song doesn't mean there was anything wrong with it. Great video, simple lyrics, great guitar solo work in here. Just a solid rock song all around. Next up, Love Is Only a Feeling. And I'd say if the Darkness put out a ballad, this would be the ballad. It's okay. It's pretty solid for the type of song it is. So we'll call it a ballad. Followed up by Given Up, which it's a heroin song. It's an anti-heroin song, I believe. Because I know they had some drug problems in this band. But it's kind of another one of those bands talking about, maybe from experience, how heroin wrecks your life. Follow that one up, Stuck in a Rut. That's another hard rocker. A lot of his, maybe the song that features the most of his high-range vocals, falsetto, higher screaming-ish kind of stuff in here. But again, just another really solid rocker. Friday Night. Friday Night is another one of there are just a handful of low-key songs on here that are still kind of rocky. Not rocky, but they rock, but they're a little slower, a little lighter, and that's one of them. Followed up again by probably my third. If I had a top 3 songs on the album, Get Your Hands Off My Woman, I Believe in a Thing Called Love, and this one, Love on the Rocks with No Ice. Again, kind of cheeky, kind of a little bit of wordplay. Again, not taking themselves all that seriously, which is great. They have a sense of humor, but they rock. Love on the Rocks with No Ice. And then they finished this album with a song called Holding My Own, which is maybe of the ballad-esque type of songs on the album, this might be my favorite one. Nothing wrong with the other ones on here, but I think this one just has a little bit more character, a little bit more play to it. So that is the basic album. Now, this is really kind of a throwback band because they did a lot of B-sides, something that maybe not a lot of bands do anymore, but a lot of B-sides from this album. One of them, maybe not really a B-side, but kind of a B-side, is their song Christmas Time, Don't Let the Bells End, which is actually a really good Christmas song. The video is weird, but I put this in there. I listen to this every Christmas because I think on top of it being a nice rock song, it's also, again, it's a good Christmas song. So if you're looking for something a little non-traditional to add to your Christmas listening list, I would recommend this one. But then some B-sides, they have 5, 6, 7, maybe pretty close to 10 B-sides that came along with this album. How Dare You Call This Love, The Best of Me, Planning Permission, Physical Sex, and Making Out. Those are just a couple to name a few that you can go out and find and listen to. Not bad songs. Not bad. Okay songs. And they sound like the other stuff on the album, but they made the right choices as far as what they put on the album. I think the songs that they chose to put on the album have a little bit more character, stand out a little bit more. The B-sides are what they are. They're B-sides. They're songs to accompany the bigger hits that they put out. And nothing wrong with them, again, but, you know, just their consistent B-side type of work. So, again, The Darkness, Permission to Land. The other albums, you know, sound doesn't vary a whole lot. You know what you're going to get. So if you like this, you're going to like the other stuff. Maybe I'll talk about some of that other stuff in the future. But in terms of just being a solid rock album, this is one that I love. Maybe it's a guilty pleasure. I don't know. But I don't like to think of it as a guilty pleasure because, again, musically, these guys are talented. And the songs they put out are catchy. They're riffy. They rock. So you can't go wrong here. I encourage you to go take a look at this again. If maybe all you've ever heard was I Believe in a Thing Called Love, go out and take a look at the rest of the album. Give it a quick listen. It's a quick listen, but I think you'll find yourself rocking out and enjoying this one. Thank you again so much for stopping by, and come back and see me again.